Vivek is cut breaking, and he's cut breaking big too. He's cut breaking big.
Tricky layout. We were hoping for better than this, but got to work it out. They're on a very tricky opening red if they want to go reds. But it would have left a very tricky red at the top of the table, one on the right-hand side, no future in yellows. It's a strong decision. It's a strong decision to pull back.
It's a brave decision.
Yeah, only thing I would say is they have left this red to left centre. Now, can you pot this thin and get into the yellow and red? Maybe thin top cushion with a bit of left-hand side. Or they could just go straight into it. They could pot it thick. That changes things. Now they've got to play 2 or 3 really good positional shots, but the out's definitely on.
I think the gamble was taken, though, there by Vic and Vivek, because they knew that was an option, but they've taken the educated decision that this is still a very, very tricky layout, and it is. That's the gamble you take.
It is, but they didn't get the safety shot right. They had to get the cue ball across further to the right-hand side and guard against leaving the shot they left on. That was the one. You didn't mind leaving one to the top right, which would have been really, really awkward. Couldn't leave that one on. Now, when Dan played his shot, if they'd landed straight, it would have been better. Could have just manipulated the pocket and been right behind this on this red to top right. But they are straight enough. It's hampered queuing, but they're straight enough to drop this on and off the cushion, and then they leave the yellow, the red at the top of the table. Oh, didn't want to be on the cushion. That does change things, because I don't think Daryl can get Dan good on this last red now. If the cue ball, because he potted that on the straight side, nearly missed it. If he
potted it on the straight side, did he?
As in the straight.
Goodness me, did he nearly miss that?
He nearly missed. I thought you were saying this, yeah. But if you get off the cushion by a few inches, then you can. Well, you saw Daryl was talking about going round the yellow.
Yeah.
But you have the choice. You can get on the last red, whereas now, very, very difficult. I don't see how they get good on it. And you can't. I don't think you can. Well, maybe you could take the one down the table, because you've only got a whole. Yeah.
I genuinely think there's an argument to be made there, side, that it actually would have been better for them if that had hung in the pocket. It became a bit of a foothold
no
in
doubt,
the frame.
no doubt.
Actually, dropping and leaving the cue ball where it was did not help them at all.
I think Daryl probably could have gone the other way around there as well. I think if he's as awkward as it was, take the one down the table, hold the white. You are still leaving the red at the top of the table on, and it's a tough shot then for Dan. So you've got to play 2 tough shots. But I just didn't see a route there for them going the way they went, and he tried to kind of make something happen that wasn't there.
That's a lovely shot from Vivek. Opened everything up on yellows. Also had a chance to pot that, and if he does, yellows have got a great chance of getting out, but also wasn't leaving anything.
Yeah.
It's a very, very coy little shot from Vivek Makh. Oh, danger, danger, danger. Got away with it. I wonder, though, if that's just set it maybe potentially as a 3-ball plan.
Yeah, if not, they've got a ball to go into it with. They will not take the one to left centre, because that's your breaker ball, so you absolutely won't take that. That's a poor shot from Vic. His 2 safety shots in the match so far have been loose. It's left. It looks like the right angle here. Careful, don't overhit this. If you overhit this, you might throw too wide with the cue ball. Oh, played that beautifully. Oh, he's unlucky.
He's been unlucky.
That was so good.
Anything but full in the face there. Anywhere slightly to the left or the right of that red, and it was separating from the yellow, but actually just bumping it straight in the face on and off the top cushion. That's a really tough outcome, that, for Daryl, because he's played a great shot there.
The pace he played it at was so good to see. It's just, I mean, in the end, it's gone
1% harder or softer, and it's a different outcome.
Exactly. That was hard to get right. Great piece of queuing from Daryl, and it should cost them, and that's obviously not gone to plan, because put the red into just about the worst place on the table and left a wide open chance on yellows.
Yeah, this absolutely should be 1-0 to the Max. And I suppose I'll take your point about the safety shot right at the start of the frame, not going right, but it certainly validates the decision to play safe.
Yeah, I was
even leaving the breakout shot they did, it still felt like a very, very tricky finish, and so it proved.
Yeah, I think the decision was right. Just the execution wasn't quite there. I think once they played the breakout, I think Dan and Daryl can be really disappointed, because whilst it looked tricky, it was one positional shot to get in the right place, and then the shots themselves wouldn't have been that difficult.
Very, very small sample size, but I feel like every shot Vivek's played in this frame, there's been a certain level of lightness to it. I just feel like he's minding his work with the cue ball a little more than maybe he did in that first match, which we talked about a little bit. He can be a really dynamic player, a really fun player to watch, Vivek. Quite likes to cue through the ball and fly the cue ball around a bit. He can make a really watchable player when he's playing well. But in these conditions where the cloth is super slick and super grippy, it can also really show you up if you're not quite 100% on it. The way that he's executed that frame in particular, you felt like he didn't really hit a false note there.
Yeah, big fan of Vivek. I can't watch him play without thinking back to that moment in Morocco where he was playing for India against Morocco in a very heated match with a massive crowd, and he started celebrating.
Partisan crowd as well.
Very partisan crowd, and he was on the 8-ball and was celebrating victory in the frame before he potted the 8-ball, really giving it to the crowd, and it was at a hugely crucial part of the match as well, and it was just one of those moments that you had to be there to really appreciate just how special that was, and also just to sort of talk about how nice he is as well. The first thing he did after the match was come up to us and kind of the organisers and almost say, I'm really sorry if I went too far, and we're like, absolutely not, we loved it. Give us more.
Yeah, so easy as we see Dan break dry, so easy in a team pool environment to get sort of wrapped up in the emotion of it. We saw it recently in the county team shootout. We'll see it later on this year when the world team shootouts come your way on Monday Night Pool. They are such special competitions because they mix all the madness of a Monday night and they throw the petrol that is team pool on top of that fire. It really does just make for box office entertainment, and the environment created in those matches is something really to witness. As Vivek once again happy to cede first go.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for having the strength just to say, no, I don't like this, I'm going to let my opponent have a go. Sometimes it's forced on you, but there are times when players playing at the elite level just go, well, my opponent's going to get out from everywhere, so therefore I have to take everything on, and I just don't think that's the case.
Yeah, and Dan himself is not buying what Vivek's selling. Took yellows and has pulled back himself. Yeah, it's definitely the dominant suit at this juncture. Vivek, of course, does have some kind of stake in this frame, though, to change all of that. Long way to go in this match, but the Macs have the lead.
Yeah, again, it seems similar. He's been a little bit fortunate there, actually, to tie this yellow at the top end of the table. That's why he's holding his hand up, because whilst, again, I applaud the decision to pull back because it was a terrible layout, he didn't make the yellows messy enough, and he was trying to make them messy on that first visit, that he's allowed, actually, well, the yellow at the top becoming a problem, maybe not so much easier, but it sort of, yellows wouldn't have been too challenging if that yellow at the top still had a pocket.
Yeah, what he was trying to, I think, was play the red off the rail, bump the yellow up to the top of the table. He sort of managed to achieve what he wanted by hook or by crook, but Dan Morgan obviously feels like he can get out from here. If he lands anywhere near the left top pocket, that yellow is available. Getting there is the question, really.
Yeah, That is a major problem, that ball. It really is. I mean, does it? I can only assume it doesn't go, but the way he's going about this, it feels like maybe it does. He's playing it as though it's not a problem ball.
Has he come round to have a look at it?
Well, he's got the angle now to get to it. You could stun up the table towards the red and land on it to the centre pocket. And if you miss the red, you've got a good chance to still be on it. Good things can happen.
Yeah, I think he's playing. He's aiming at the middle of the three reds, almost in a line. We didn't get into it enough.
Yeah, need to tip lower on the cue ball there.
And now he's in all kinds of trouble.
Can he get to the kick shot? He might be able to get to the kick shot here, past the red. Because if you come down the table, I've no idea how you're going to get to it. So I'd play if you can get there, as high tariff as it is that going to be the best chance to make that ball? Probably is.
Terrific pot. He's unlucky to going off. Didn't get to cue that. Great pot. Didn't go the cue ball. He was really trying to dig into this. He's almost had to volley this yellow. See the cue ball jump there in slow motion. Great able to show it.
That was harsh, wasn't it? It was tough. Good bit of cueing from Dan, but that whole visit, we talked in the last match about Ronan McCarthy being the master at kind of asking questions of you and making you take on finishes that you don't want to. Okay, it was a huge piece of fortune for Vivek to make that a terrible layout for Dan, but the whole way he was going through that, if you're Vivek sat in your chair, you're going, I'm okay here, I fancy my chances to get back to the table. With every ball potted, Vivek became more and more favourite for the frame.
What I think the Macs have done really, really well so far. And again, we're only matching a quarter in, maybe half, depending if you look at it with time or with frames on the board. Let's call it a match and a half in, but they've won every frame that they should have won. And it sounds like a really simple thing to say, but that's not always a simple thing to do. Actually, just being solid on a Monday night, winning all the frames you're supposed to win, is a really, really good recipe for success.
Winning the frames you get to the table and winning the frames you can affect. You're going to lose plenty of frames or you don't get a chance. That's a really good point you make.
Bent the matches a little bit to their will at times, certainly this one. You can argue all day about whether they're a little bit lucky for Daryl and Dan not to get out, but essentially Vivek and Vic here have played the waiting game, and they've waited for their opportunity, which when they've come to the table to clear up, you felt like it was a surefire thing, like it was never in doubt, and it hasn't been, not once while Vivek's been at the table here. Excellently managed couple of frames from Vic and Vivek Makh, who go 2-0 in front. Nothing like the fire that we saw in that match that Simon referenced a few years ago. It's a sort of cool composure to Vivek, which we've not seen a huge amount of. He quite likes to play heart on his sleeve, give it everything. But there's a sort of cool clinical nature about him tonight, certainly in this match, which has led him and his dad to a 2-0 lead. I tell you what, if you're Vic and Vivek Makh, you can find a way to win this match, and you've just got to avoid defeat. To no disrespect, Teejay Bateman and John Maher, who've not got a point yet so far. That is Dreamland.
It absolutely is, and this is, if you're the group favourites in Ronan and Declan, this is the result you don't want to see. You want to be able to control your destiny, and right now it's just been taken away from them by the quality of these two.
Enter Darrell Whitworth. He is the pro in the pairing. He's had a very good season so far as a maiden campaign. And right now, he scratches his head, but he's played well tonight, and he needs to find something in these remaining 5.5 minutes. He will play a part in all of the next 3 frames. 2 of them singles, 1 of them scotch.
Well, I thought he was on the yellow to bottom right, and I was kind of thinking, if you can find a one positional shot off the one bottom right, you're good here. But he was scratching his head because he wasn't on it. Yet that was the easiest ball he had to pot, and you're losing control of the cue ball. So,
has he got any kind of luck?
He's got the gap.
Oh, if he's hit that gap, that's an incredible line to find. Yeah, look at that.
He was over the moon with that outcome.
Goodness me, you could never ever play on that gap. He's jawed the cue ball and landed on it absolutely plumb.
That ball was moving as well, I think, as well, to land there. So, yeah, lots of good things happening for Daryl. But he took on a tough pot and tried to make it happen and got the result. Now he has to put the finish together to go with it.
That's a lovely shot. Hit a really good area there. Good things can happen where he's landed that cue ball.
I think all he's got the plant or a thin one in the centre, isn't he?
This has been very, very good so far from Daryl. Really good.
Just don't land straight in. Drop this in, but don't land straight in on the one on the corner. And he doesn't. Guarantees himself a perfect angle just to float in.
Anywhere near the middle line of the table, and he is in business. Ooh, he's got into that a little bit. Does it go bottom left? Or is he having to come in and out of the bottom of the table?
He's okay. He can clip this in, and the cue ball can do it straight down the middle of the table. Just about okay. Any more than that, and he would have maybe had a bit of a question to play.
He's got into his last shot a little bit more than he wanted to, but this has been a very, very good visit to the table, you've got to say, from Darrell Whitworth. A really classy out. When his partnership really needed it, that was excellent. Tricky layout, horrible first shot, and that was very, very good indeed from Dazza to find a way and keep his partnership alive in this match.
The little bit of fortune he had at the start of the frame was probably akin to the little bit of fortune that Vivek had, making it an awkward layout for Dan in the previous frame. So kind of all square on that front, in a very good finish on the back of it. It'll be Dan or Daryl to break, won't it? So big frame here, all square or two in it with not much time left after the end of it. Big frame.
It's going to be the cut break. Let's get this 8-ball moving, Darrell Whitworth. It's amazing how much easier this break becomes on 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗏 compared to other tables. Where's your leave? Where's your leave? Touching ball on reds. So this might be a bit of a tester.
Be careful here, don't fall into the trap. You've got to nominate in this situation. Daryl should know this as a professional, but Dan might get caught here. If they don't nominate, they could be in trouble.
Oh, I think he's going to get called for a foul here.
It didn't nominate. It's a loss of turn. And
so we'll explain that rule for those who don't know. So it's a very, very rare instance. Essentially, it looks like Daryl's a little bit confused by it as well. Essentially, when you finish off a break and the table is open table and you are touching a ball, like the red right there, and the referee very clearly called it, or she said touching ball. If you're then playing a yellow, you're already deemed to be playing a red, so you need to make it clear to the referee that you are playing that yellow. Otherwise, when you pot that yellow and you've not made it clear you're nominating, you're deemed to have just played red onto yellow, which in open table is simply a loss of turn.
Yeah, and the reason you have to do it is because if you don't do it, you could be playing a loss of turn in that situation. You could be playing the yellow and playing it as a loss of turn, or you could, if you don't do it, you might make taking a pot on, and it might end up as a better outcome as a loss of turn, and you can change your mind, and it just opens up. It's the rule. You should know that as a professional, and you should just get on. It doesn't happen that often, but it's an amazing number of times you see players get caught out by it.
Yeah, and it usually ends up being really, really costly. Although Vic hasn't quite got his mark there. He wanted to flick that yellow on the way through, and he hasn't. But can yellows find a way out here? With 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Big moment. Big moment.
Do you have to get up on the one on the top, and then they've got to play the yellow off the yellow and have it stay in position? It should stay in position. Yeah, you just see where Daryl pointed. That's where he wants it. Anywhere up there, and there's a good shot required.
Oh, he's short. He's a long way short.
Well, does the yellow go off the red? I mean, is miles short if he's played to be on the top cushion. Does the yellow go off the red?
We're not going to find out. I think they're going to be... Well, they got the minorest effect they have. They've got the edge. Wow.
Oh, it did. But are they on the 8 ball? No.
And they're not on the 8.
What do you do here? You've got to hit.
48 seconds left.
Going to give the 8 ball a ride, whatever, but is it controllable? Oh, they're checking the foul as well.
No, I can tell you what's happened here. The match clock has stopped with an error, so the referee has called timeout.
No, they are checking the foul. I just had it confirmed.
My apologies.
Yeah, they are just checking. Did he flick the red? There was a lot going on in this shot. Did he flick the red on the way through, or did... Let's have a look.
So referee 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗃 is watching these images as well. Here comes a shot, watch the red.
Yeah, it's fine. He gave me the soft signal that it was okay, and it was.
So they've got an 8 ball. And they've got 49 seconds of the match.
I think it is makeable into the right side cushion, kind of almost catching the red about quarter ball. It's so easy to catch the thick jaw here and not make it. Or you play the double.
Scores.
No, he tried to play the shot I talked about.
Middle pocket's in play. It's just high of it. And Vic Makh and Vivek Makh are going to get away with one. Do they have to pot a ball here? I think they do. Can't afford to give Dan and Daryl a shot at the 8 ball. Little red. Oh, it's not dropped.
Oh my.
10 seconds. And Dan Morgan can tie it. What a moment. Cue ball stops. The match clock was at about 4 seconds. It's 2-2. Vic Makh shaking hands. There will be another break here.
Anything but play that. Anything. Just play a shot down the table. I mean, that's incredible. I mean...
We're going to take another look at the Vivek shot in a second. But that was an extraordinary moment. It's a massive error from Vivek.
I mean, I do understand, you know, he's playing this because he wants to play a pot. But, I mean, it's a poor miss. Dear me.
I think he's really wary of the cue ball there as well, because he knows he's going into the 8.
Yeah, and looking at the replay, he didn't have anything easy to pop down the table. If he plays a shot down the table and misses, as in he doesn't get his cue ball absolutely right, he probably does leave a shot on the 8 ball. So he played the right shot, he just missed a bad ball.
Well, can he recover the situation? A golden break wins the match, a golden duck loses it. Anything else and we end on as even. 8 ball is moving, but it's going to stay up and the match ends 2-2. And in the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup Group number 6, the game is afoot. The 4th match ends a draw. The Makhs are top of the group on 3 points. Whitworth and Morgan are top of the group on 3 points. Declan, Brennan and Ronan McCarthy not out of it yet. It's all to play for when we return.